It would be dishonest of me to say that I haven't used this list to help me persuade myself that the vast majority of women aren't worth my time or efforts. I am aware that this comes across as vain, but the fact that I own my own home, car, and career puts me in a position where I can afford to be. This is a condensed version of that list that you were looking for. Please let me know how you would tune it, or if you think it is unnecessary and a waste of time. First and foremost, does she contribute anything to my life other than her vagina? Being single gives me more opportunities to have sexual encounters, so I'm looking for a woman whose personality will complement mine while also setting her apart. Second, I'm curious if she has a life outside of working for my company. Her own room, car, hobbies, and the like. Thirdly, is she aware that I will not give up my aspirations and goals in order to make her happy? To appease her, I will not give up something that brings me pleasure or that could bring me financial gain. Fourth, does she think less of me than I deserve? I won't tell you a lie. Ever since I began using this list, not a single lady has passed it to the point where I am satisfied with her. By avoiding these women, I was able to keep myself out of a lot of potentially dangerous situations because I have to massage my palms so frequently. Yes, my hands are getting better, but not in the way that you might think is unclean. However, at this point, I'd like to move on to the subject at hand, which is, besides her breasts, does she have anything else to offer? There is a double standard at play here because women require that a man have a job, but a man is a bad catch if he insists that a woman has more than $1,000 saved. One of my friends told me that another woman put him down for not having the most recent model of car, despite the fact that she does not even have a car of her own and still has the nerve to criticize him. I believe that your checklist is pretty much useless because you have a vanity that is covered in makeup, credit card debt, no assets, student loan debt for a worthless marketing degree, no cooking skills, and possibly a child from a previous relationship. If she does have a retirement fund, it is almost certainly tied down to her employer. It's also possible that she has an abused animal that you'll be responsible for looking after. If people were compelled to live within their means, the vast majority of unmarried women would be forced to seek shelter elsewhere. Double standards. This is a topic that I frequently discuss with my close friends. My friends and I all talk about how we've paid off our cars with lots of savings, but women look at us and say things like, well, that's not the latest model of a BMW. One of them has over $1 million and has property paid off. Meat curtains and her reproductive system are typically all that she brings to the table. There isn't a single item on your list that I'd change. My friend's boyfriend goes on dates and discovers that many of the women do not have any assets, while he has more than $500,000, so he asks them what they are bringing to the relationship in response. One woman assured him that she would take care of his finances and construct a house for him. He claims that he already has one and that he does not want the woman who moves in with them to force him to move into his garage or basement. Bucky, a guy who reached out to us, told us that when he told his friends about his dating checklist, they labeled him a sociopath. Bucky was surprised by this reaction. Bucky, it seems as though you are having more sexual experiences of a more diverse nature because you have things that they want. You are holding it out to them like a carrot, and they are under the impression that you will eventually develop feelings for them and give it to them. You mentioned in your questions to me that some of your friends who you had told about your dating guidelines thought you were a sociopath. I was unaware that having standards as a man is now considered to be sociopathic, whereas a woman who has high standards is simply being smart. I'm sure that both men and women are telling you that you're being too demanding and that you need to man up and sacrifice yourself for the good of the group. Why is it that if a man has a checklist, it indicates that he is a misogynist who despises all women, but it is acceptable for a woman to have one? They probably fell for the same trick, and now they want to see you suffer in the same ways, so they are idiots and want you to settle for a fat hog beast that will ruin your life. This is because they want to see you suffer in the same ways that they did. They are envious of you because you are getting more sex than them, because you can do whatever you want, and because your money keeps growing, while they are stuck at home supporting a ham beast that tells them exactly what to do. In addition, they are jealous that you are getting more money than them. I simply cannot and will not do this. They will use the family car and any other assets available to them as cockroach bait, and then they will lure a man into their homes for the purpose of having sexual encounters with him on a part-time basis. Women have the misconception that if they move into a guy's house, it will be like checking into a roach motel and they will be unable to leave, but more and more often, men will simply kick them out. The cost of real estate is extremely high where I currently reside, running somewhere around $1 million for an ordinary detached home, but what's funny is that one of my friends went on a date and the woman said she wanted to be married in a few years, and she worked as a secretary, and she wanted to live in her own house. He questioned her about the strategy she was going to use. She did not own her own home, and if she had a car, it was almost always brand new. She also typically had outstanding debt, and it is possible that she is currently leasing her vehicle. The assets you have at your disposal, Bucky, are comparable to peanut butter being spread all over your penis. The majority of women can't get enough of them. Sofas, chairs, and other pieces of furniture, along with their bodies, depreciate in value when they are left unused. Depreciating assets are something that women bring to the table. Even if a man has a mortgage on the property, the fact that he owns it gives him an asset that is growing in value. The same is true for financial accounts such as savings. His stock is going through the roof while hers is going down. She is holding out hope that a hostile merger will save her from financial ruin and destitution. The few women I've encountered who had saved hundreds of thousands of dollars each appeared to have been beaten with an ugly stick. They were well aware that they could not rely on men to come to their rescue, so instead, they concentrated their efforts on putting money away for their own retirement funds. However, the vast majority of women believe they are pretty or attractive, which leads them to believe they will be rescued despite the fact that the likelihood of this happening is extremely remote. You can usually figure this out based on the list you've created for yourself, as the majority of women are not worth your time or effort. You need to end the relationship on the first or second date if she does not have any assets. You also need to examine her way of life and compare it to the amount of money that she actually makes. You could typically find out a person's salary by going online and researching the position that the individual holds or the company that the individual works for.